Hi, I'm Steve with aGeeko Computer Service here in Spanish Fork, Utah. We also go by the name Utah PC Pros, if you've seen our truck. Hey, couple of things. People are asking for tips on, or they're trying to understand what they're buying when they buy a new computer. So let's cover some of the basics. First of all, there's two very large companies that make processors, the brain of the computer. One is Intel and the other is AMD. I'm going to talk about Intel because they by far have the biggest part of the market. AMD's fine too, but we're going to just cover Intel because that's plenty. Intel, if you're looking right now, you'll find on the specs of any computer, you'll find that it is an i7 or an i5 or an i3. An i7 is a processor that is faster than an i5, and an i5 is faster than an i3. Those are good things to know. And so if you're buying an i3, you can get those in the $400 to $500 range. If you're buying an i5, it's going to be $500 to $600. If you're buying an i7, it could be $700 and up. There is now an i9, but they're not very common yet. They're just not out there. Also, the real old machines have got Pentium in them. A Pentium is slower than an i3 by quite a bit. That's a real old machine. Also, if you are looking, it'll say something like this is an i5 and it's a 8600 or a 7400 or a 9200. The higher that number, the more recent it is. So for 2021, the i7 is like a 10,000 something. And so if you've got something that's a 2000 something, you've got a pretty old i7, real old, 7 or 8 years old. The next thing that's real important is how much RAM it has in it. 4 is an absolute minimum, and 6 is really kind of a minimum. 8 is a good number. Above that isn't really necessary, but if it has 16, so be it. Most programs are not going to use that much memory. 8 gigs of RAM is a good number. Also, very important, probably what is overlooked more than anything else, is what kind of hard drive does it have. If it has a solid state hard drive, then those hard drives are like taking a bunch of thumb drives and using those chips to make a hard drive. A typical hard drive has spinning parts and a motor, and it has to go in and has to read this stuff and put it in a ribbon and send it to the processor. Whereas a solid state hard drive, all of the information is already in a memory state. It's already in an electrical state. It doesn't physically have to be read and then put into a memory chip and then processed. So a computer with a solid state hard drive is going to be twice as fast as something that does not. Everything else was the same. A solid state hard drive would be 2 to 3 times faster than a non-solid state hard drive. So as you look at them, you'll find yourself, if you find a good deal, you'll find an i7 that might be $700, $600, goodbye. i7, $600, 8 gigs of RAM that has a 1 terabyte hard drive. Well, unless it says SSHD or solid state hard drive, then I would rather spend $100 more and get a solid state one, which will be much faster. But also know this, they're more expensive, which means they don't put 1 terabyte hard drives in because they cost a lot of money. So it might have a 512 gigabyte hard drive in it. And that is basically half the size of the 1 terabyte. So it is smaller, but what they're starting to do now is they're starting to put in both so that your machine runs on a solid state, but there's all this storage in a conventional hard drive on the side. Anyhow, I hope that helps. We're here in Spanish Fork. Love to work for you. Businesses, we do it all. Have been doing it for years. Give us a call, 801-822-2086. Thank you.